Okay, time for part two. I stopped off at Houston. That brings me to the UNC tier, courtesy of Chris PG1. That's where I got that, the inspiration for that name. So thank you, Chris. In this tier, I have the Lakers and the Warriors, who have the major league UNCs in the conference. The Lakers obviously need to figure out what they want to do with LeBron. If they want to try to trade him during the season, they've made it very clear that Luka is the focus of their team going forward, which is understandable. I mean, he's 13 or 14 years younger than LeBron, and he's better at this point, much better, honestly. So it makes sense. We'll see what they do with LeBron if they decide to trade him. I think DeAndre Ayton is going to work there. I think if his time in Phoenix is any indication, he needs somebody who's going to get on his ass, and the Lakers have a handful of guys who are going to do that, including their coach. So I think he's going to work there. They're not going to win the championship or anything, but I mean, if you put a healthy, competent team around Luka, he's basically a wins machine in the regular season. I mean, they're not going to be in the play-in if everybody on that team stays healthy. The Warriors, I think they will, as a result of that, they'll probably end up in the 7th spot. I think they've expressed interest in trading for LeBron. There is a trade for LeBron and Bronny going to Golden State and Jimmy Butler coming back, which would make sense. Jimmy only has 2 years left on his deal, so they would still have space and flexibility in the summer of 2027, which the Lakers have stated that they want to do. Golden State, they are looking to get even older by signing Al Horford, and potentially trading for LeBron. I think both those guys would be really good fits there. But I also, the Kuminga situation is really weird. That's really mucking up everything that they want to do. So, I mean, Golden State's going to be good. They're not going to stink. They still have Steph and Draymond and Butler. After they traded for Butler last year, they did really, really well the remainder of the regular season. Maybe that's small sample size theater. Maybe that's scheduling. But they were really good. So we'll see what happens there. The rest of the play-in contenders are my next tier. That is Memphis, San Antonio, Portland. And then I feel like I'm forgetting one team. Who am I forgetting here? I guess we'll go Memphis, San Antonio, Portland here. Memphis, they're retooling. They obviously traded away Desmond Bane. They got a bunch of, future-related assets back. They re-signed Triple J. I think they really like Cedric Howard, who they drafted. They're another team that is just, they're run well enough that they're not going to stink. Who knows what's going to happen with Ja? He's always a question mark. But if he's able to stay on the court, I think they're going to be fine. They're going to be pretty good. They'll probably have a season similar to this year where they look really, really solid for part of the regular season, and then they will probably get bounced out early in the playoffs. That's probably what will happen to them. San Antonio, I think, has more upside. We'll see how Wembanyama looks coming back from injury. We'll see how Dylan Harper fits in there. They have a lot of guards who want to have the ball and aren't great shooters. Vassell is a good shooter, but the rest of the guys they have on that team, between Castle and Fox and Harper, are a little bit redundant. I think they're just gonna work with their talent and try to get that to work out. So we'll see what happens with them. I could see them making a move and shaking things up a little bit, but they're probably just gonna improve internally because they have a lot of good young players, and so they're gonna have a shot at getting into the playoffs. The last team in this tier is Portland. Portland's another team that is still pretty young with its core players. They've made just some interesting moves around the fringes. They re-signed Dame. They traded again for Drew. They reacquired him. So I think they're going to be pretty good. I think that they are going to have a really good defense. They have a lot of guys who are just you know, pretty decent players. You know, they've, you know, whether that's Jeremy Grant or Denny Avdia or even Klingon, who is still young, but I think he's a pretty solid player. He's going to have a bigger role. We'll see what happens with Yang Hansen up there. That's going to be interesting. But yeah, I think Portland's going to have a shot at getting into the play-in. That leaves the kind of question mark teams of Phoenix, Sacramento, New Orleans, Utah, and then, God, who am I? Yeah, no, who am I forgetting here? Who am I forgetting in the conference? I'm forgetting somebody. This is embarrassing. I'll have to do a correction video on this. But those last 4 teams, I just don't really know what to make of them. You know, Phoenix, they might be better now that they've kind of sorted out they've gotten rid of Durant and Beal. Maybe that's going to be sort of an addition by subtraction situation. They also have gone from having no centers to having too many centers. They still don't really have a traditional point guard, which I think they need. You know, Booker is going to handle the ball quite a bit, but I think they need a more traditional point guard on that team. So we'll see. I mean, they could be decent. They could stink. Could see it going either way. I like Malawach for them. I hope that he kind of wins out in the minutes competition there. Sacramento, I mean, again, could be decent, could stink. They might trade for Kuminga, they might not. They might do nothing. They might trade Sabonis away if they get a good offer. I haven't heard reports on that, but I've heard interesting kind of fake trades with him. So who knows what's going to happen there. Let's see, Utah, they've said that they don't want to tank anymore. Their team is just not very good, so it's going to be the same thing either way. I like that they got Ace. I think that was a good pick for them. He's the kind of player that they should bet on and take a swing on, give him opportunities. And then New Orleans is really sad. I mean, you know, their draft night debacle with the Derek Queen trade and everything they gave up for him. And then, you know, DeJounte Murray is still coming back from a torn Achilles. And then, of course, the icing on the cake, pun intended, is Zion, who, you know, on top of being just, you know, fat and lazy, is now probably a sex offender. So what a great franchise player he is for them. So we'll see. I think that team, you know, again, they have good players. Like, I like Herb Jones. I like Trey Murphy, you know, as does everybody. But that's just a sad state of affairs for them. So we'll see. I'll come back with whoever the team is that I forgot. I apologize. I really don't know how I forgot about that, but I will. I'll do a part 3. I guess it'll be the first time for a part 3, for great reason, obviously. But yeah, talk to you later. See ya.